1. So this happened a few hours ago, and I wanted to share it. Background. 3 governmental orders have been made that are relevant to this post. Even and odd car numbers will drive on an alternating system throughout the week. Odd cars Mondays, even cars Tuesdays, and so on. Sunday has a no car allowed system. You are not allowed to drive unless you have a mask, sanitizers, and gloves in the car with you. If the windows are closed, you do not have to be wearing them while inside the car. Driving age is 18. Story time. I went to an upscale part of my city, as I wanted to get some imported snacks that you cannot find anywhere else. The shop has its own parking lot that you can park in. Usually there would be a parking lot attendee, but there wasn't at the moment. No biggie. I slide my car in and get out, mask and gloves on. While walking on my way, I see a mom struggling to get her car out of an awkward parking position, and the kids in the back seat jumping around. I approach the car and help her out. She thanks me. Kids wave at me and she goes on her way. Enter a black Mercedes with tinted windows. It parked directly in front of me. A girl who looked too young to be driving gets out and literally throws her car keys in my face and says, "Park!" Exit from the other side, an older lady whom I later found out is her mom. Yeah, I'm not the parking attendee, and that's no way to give people stuff. I dropped the key on the floor.
What did you just say? How dare you talk to me like that?
She gets up in my face. She's not wearing a mask, though. I slide back away from her. Do not approach me. I'm sorry if you're an idiot, but I do not work here, and stop bothering me.
You just helped that lady out. Now, help us and do your job, or I will get you fired. I know the owner. Yeah, do your job, dumbass. It's because of us you get paid.
Honestly, looking back, I should have slapped her. Ladies, last time, I am not the attendee.
Do your job, damn it. I don't have to deal with the likes of you.
She grabs the key and essentially stabs me with it in the chest and walks away. Went around the corner to a police officer station whose job is to make sure cars of appropriate plates and gear are driving. I convinced him to come back to the parking with me. We waited till the woman got out, and to cut what essentially was a screaming match between the 2 girls and the real parking attendee, the police officer and another 2 police officers that came, the results are as follows. Girl is 16. Neither the mom or the girl own the car. It's the dad's. It was an odd license plate. Today, Saturday, is an even license plate day. They had no PPE whatsoever. Open alcohol bottle in the car. Harassment of a pedestrian. Me. Unsure what happened after the officer rattled out all those infractions they committed, as I had collected my loot, snacks, and left. A quick Google of my county's laws places them at a fine for $3,500, withdrawal of license, judge hearing, and I am able to file for a civil suit due to the harassment and assault, stabbing me with the key. 2. Hi all. I have had the misfortune to experience a lot of things in my 30-odd years. I'll start with one that made me laugh when my friend reminded me about it last night. Been watching a few of these groups for a little while, and occasionally they remind me of my own experiences. I should probably introduce myself. I am a male from the UK, late 30s, and I'm quite tall at 6'4", which seems to make me stand out enough that I'm either a target or just the person who catches the eye of lunatics quite a lot. Cast for this tale, me. Hi. Phil, my friend who reminded me about this story. DG's 1 to 6, a group of drunk girls who made a small mistake but couldn't get past it. Bouncer, big fella. Not too bright though. Manager, nice bloke. Sorts it out. Here we go. A few years ago, I was hanging around drinking outside a bar in Manchester with my friend Phil. My friend smokes, but I don't. You mostly need to go outside to designated smoking areas to smoke in the UK. As I'm stood there talking to my friend, admittedly quite near the door to the bar, a small group of very drunk girls gathers in front of me. I don't really notice for a few moments as I'm talking, but after a short while I pick up that there's a little crowd stumbling about in front of me. and they're looking a bit agitated. Lots of huffing and tutting. I look over them briefly and notice they were all carbon copy blondes with the same haircut. Not a Karen cut, sadly. Mid-30s, similar black outfits, very short dresses. All quite overweight, no judgment, just an observation. And all drunk like it was their first time out on the town. The only thing separating them was the level of fake tan they had gone for. It ranged from orange to a kind of mahogany color. I'm oblivious to why they are standing there or who they might think I am at this point, but I assume that I am in the way a little bit, so I move to the side away from the door, and they start to enter the bar with a few slurred versions of "finally" and "fucking useless." It seems obvious now that they thought I was a bouncer or doorman who had to let them in. But at the time, I just thought I might have been in their way a bit. There didn't seem to be a bouncer, as it was a quiet night, so an easy mistake to make. I should also mention it was a cold and rainy night in Manchester. It usually is. So I was wearing a big coat. It was dark in color, but wasn't the usual bouncer uniform of black coat with SIA identification on the sleeves. SIA is Security Industry Authority, if memory serves. I actually did work door security for a couple of years at student bars and clubs in the past, so I know a little bit of this, but that was years ago. Most bouncers tend to be quite big guys, as it's a physical job when shit goes down with fighting and such, and I'm in that category because of my height and build. A few minutes pass and the four girls stumble out of the bar again and make a beeline right for me. I wasn't as close to the door anymore, but I was still outside with my friend. The leader of this gaggle was massively drunk and had obviously been elected as that night's spokesperson. She will be DG1. She did most of the speaking, slurring, and the rest mostly just said supportive things to back her up, and swore. "You need to come on and save my friends." Sorry, what? Come on, in trouble? She grabs my arm, which surprised me a bit. Who's in trouble? I also pull my arm away, which seems to annoy her. "Come with me now, my friends are being attacked." She grabs my arm again. "You better go, sounds important," says Phil. He was laughing as they'd figured out the problem already. Okay, still confused, I just don't get it. But I was just drunk enough to think they might be trying to be funny or pick me up or something. "Finally, quick." "Yeah, hurry," say the other drunk girls. She leads me into the bar and up to a sort of dance floor area where the other two girls are dancing with and kissing two guys. I'm a bit confused why I'm here and now notice that DGs 1 to 4 are staring at me expectantly. So what am I doing here? "Kick those guys out over there, they're attacking my friends." Seems like they're okay to me, why did you drag me here? "We're on a girls' night, and these guys aren't even with us." "Yeah, we don't even know them," say the others. Okay, but why would I need to be involved? "They're being assaulted, and you just want to effing watch." No, I don't really care. I'm going back outside now. I turn to walk out. DG1 shrieks something sweary at me and tries to slap me in the face. She misses, spins, and hits the floor. I am walking away and out now when I turn, having taken a few steps to get back to the door. DG1 is stumbling to her feet and struggling a bit. I walk outside and hope that's all the weirdness I'll have tonight. I find Phil, who is laughing at me having watched the drama from the door. "You're not free yet? I think you're in trouble now." Motions to the door. The four girls have found a real bouncer who must have been inside and are pointing me out looking furious. They come over and are halfway through their version of the story to the real bouncer. "That's the one. That's the bouncer who refused to effing help us and then knocked me over. He needs to be effing sacked." "This guy," pointing to me. Things suddenly click in my brain. Wait, bouncer? Do you think I'm a bouncer? "Yeah, of course you let us in." "He doesn't work here." "Yes, he does. Don't you even know each other?" No, I don't work here. I stood here with a pint in my hands. Why do you think I worked here?
You're dressed as a bouncer and you let us in?
By wearing a dark jacket. I didn't let you in. I just moved out of your way when you went in.
You came inside with us to sort out those guys. Why would you do that if you don't work here?
You didn't give me much time to think. Before I knew it, you'd grabbed me and pulled me inside. Hang on, I'm a bit lost. Look, he's the bouncer, black jacket, security information on his sleeve, and he's got the radio and all that. Look at me. I'm just stood here with a beer in my hand.
F this, I don't care what you are, but you pushed me to the ground and took my money.
Doubling down a little now, as I presume she thought this would help her. I never touched you. I left after you pointed out some people kissing, and you tried to slap me. Missed, and fell over. What money are you talking about? Thought the mention of money was a bit random.
We paid you to get in.
They obviously didn't. It wasn't even a bar you pay to get in. The bouncer looks very lost, but he seems to be getting the idea that he better react soon. So you hit her and took money off her? No, none of this happened. I think this lot are a bit drunk. All four chime in with various, yes, he effing hit her, stole her purse. Another fun little addition. Right, give her purse back. What purse? I don't have a purse. This is all bullshit. Bouncer speaks into the radio, and another bouncer has now showed up. He says he's going to look at the cameras and see what's what. I'm lucky it was a relatively quiet night, as normally I think I'd just have been kicked out of the place just to stop the drama and save time, but as it was a bit slow, they decided to investigate. The DGs have all started getting a bit hysterical now they have the real bouncers, and the story has been embellished to include me taking money off them at the door to let them in, which they want back, of course, the fact that I apparently gave this poor girl a bit of a kicking, and I was supporting the guys who were trying to assault their friends. It takes a few minutes, but just as they are whipping themselves up into a frenzy, the bar manager comes out and asks me if I'll go inside to speak to him. I just want to go home now, but as it will get me away from the screeching, I agree. I instantly regret it as I get shepherded into the back of the bar, to the little room the security guys use. I assume I'm going to get a kicking, but the manager gets a second bouncer to show me the two clips on the security screen. The first one shows me vaguely moving out of the way when they go into the bar, definitely not taking any money. And the second shows me inside the bar briefly talking to DG1, her going to slap me and tripping herself up. We have a little laugh and they say I'm fine. I say I'm going to go, but they suggest if the woman calls the police, it might be better if I hang around, so it can be sorted out with this evidence. Apparently, it's quite common for people to lose things like purses and try to blame others in pubs. I ask what they're going to do with a group of girls, and they say they're going to be asked to leave. We go back outside, and the girls are still going on about what I apparently did when the manager asks them to leave. They go really mad for a few seconds protesting.
I've looked at the CCTV, and this guy didn't do anything. You actually tried to hit him? I never hear they slapped me and stole my fucking purse. I'm calling the police. Well, feel free. But as I said, I've got the footage, so you will make yourself look a bit silly. No, I won't. I bet you do this all the time. Rob people and share the money.
You've been asked to leave, so please go.
I'm not going until he gives me purse back.
I don't have it. Are you sure you didn't drop it when you fell over? I did smirk a bit here, which may have been an error.
It's mommy, look!
She launches herself at me, but the bouncer with reflexes like a cheetah manages to catch her in midair and holds her there. This was no mean feat, as she was a pretty large girl. She starts kicking and screaming, but it doesn't seem to trouble him too much. He holds her there for a few seconds as she runs out of steam. DGs 2 through 4 slowly seem to realize it isn't going to work and quieten down, and seem to sink back a bit to get away. As DG1 catches her breath, the two girls, 5 and 6, who had been inside and really hadn't been involved to this point, come out of the bar arm in arm with two guys.
Hi, Karen.
Not her real name, of course. It was actually Chantal or something chavvy.
We bumped into our fella, so we're heading home. Have a good night. Oh, by the way, here's the purse you asked me to hold.
They hand over the purse, which she takes very sheepishly, and DG5 and DG6 leave with the guys. The remaining girls have all but disappeared now, and it appears the show is over. Bouncer releases DG1, and again asks them to leave. They seem a bit defeated and slink away, apart from DG1, who is hanging back a bit. She turns to me and looks at me for a second. I was expecting an apology for the misunderstanding, or a final fuck you, but she actually says to me,
"Will we get in next week?"
"Sorry, what do you mean?"
"We aren't bored, are we?"
Bouncer and manager look at each other and shake their heads a little. Not quite sure why. She still thinks I work there. "You are, I'm afraid. Your friends can come back any time, though."
"Yeah, that's right. I'm afraid we can't have people assaulting the staff. If you leave now, we won't call the police,"
said the manager, figuring it's easier just to go with it now. She then joins the rest of her troop, and they dejectedly walk away and leave the smoking area and the bar with a bit of muttering. "So hang on. Do you work here or not?" "No, sorry mate, just stood in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was just taking the piss out of her at the end." "Okay. So how come she's barred?"
"Don't worry about it, just get a picture of the video and put her on the wall of shame."
Presume this was how they tracked the troublemakers.
"Right, all sorted. Can I get you a drink for all the trouble?"
"Better not, boss, not while I'm working." Cue a wry smile from the manager and a little bit of laughter from the few people who had gathered around and had picked up on what was going on. Sadly, everyone didn't stop and clap, but it was enough for me. Phil and I got a free round of drinks out of it, and I still go to that bar every now and then to this day. I never could figure out why they wanted the friends' boyfriends to be kicked out. Presume it was just because a girls' night out is sacred and they didn't like the intrusion, but this seems extreme. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry it didn't end with the police getting called, and a Karen or a group of Karens all getting carted off to the cells. Have a great day, everyone. 3. This was a year or two ago, so memory of the exact wording is going to be a little hazy, but I hope you enjoy. I work as a crew chief for a survey company in South Florida. On this particular occasion, I was doing a boundary and topographical survey for a home in an upper-class downtown area that was in the process of being renovated. Our company had previously surveyed on this road, so we had existing control points for our equipment to occupy. Look for property corners, establish elevations, all the good technical stuff. One of these points, unfortunately, was not on the road. If you're walking on a street or a sidewalk and you notice the head of some weird nail and a metal disc with writing on it, you're seeing a control point of a survey company. The control point I was looking for is known as a 60D, a nail that is a good deal longer than the ones we put in the road, because we use them when we have to set a control point in dirt, sand, grass, or otherwise unpaved terrain. This 60D was right in the way of a home at the end of the street. I knew it was there because I had set it with my previous crew chief. My crew was just one other guy, Ike. And as we searched for the 60D, using a magnetic pin finder to locate it, and my pocket knife to dig for it, the homeowner, a middle-aged Chad, came barreling out of his house.
"What the fuck do you think you're doing?"
First of all, I hate confrontation. I am an incurable people-pleaser. Second, I hate explaining surveying to anyone not in the know because no matter how I try to describe what I'm doing, it always comes off as indecipherable gibberish. So I'm still trying to figure out how to answer as he continues ranting.
"What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing in my yard?"
I couldn't help myself. My brain clicked onto something and I calmly answered. Technically, I'm not on your property, sir. I'm in the right-of-way. Fun fact, in Florida, surveyors are allowed to go anywhere so long as that directly affects our survey. I had to explain that so many times we actually have a printout of the law to present to people when necessary, though I didn't have it on me at the time of this incident, so it didn't really matter whether I was in the right-of-way or on his property. I needed that 60D to do my work, and I was legally allowed to do it.
"Don't give me that shit. What company do you work for?"
Ike and I point to our t-shirts and tell him.
"Well, what the fuck are you doing on my land?"
We're looking for a control point to occupy for a survey. I know there's one here.
How? How do you know that?
Because I was here when this company completed the final survey for your home after it was fully renovated. The wheels are starting to turn.
What are you surveying?
The house down the street that's also under renovation.
Wait, you're not surveying the road for the city?
No, sir, we're a private company doing a job for a house builder. Chad's entire demeanor immediately changes. He becomes apologetic and ashamed of his behavior. He explained that the city was trying to put in sidewalks on several streets. The neighborhood, not wishing to undergo such a drastic change, had come together and hired lawyers to fight the possible sidewalk construction. Those lawyers had advised the homeowners to not allow our city or county employees, including surveyors, to do any work towards the planning of the sidewalk. He told us by all means do whatever we needed to do because he didn't care, so long as it wasn't for the sidewalk. It was all so very sudden, but he was so nice afterward. He even brought us out a couple of water bottles. I feel that not pushing back and getting angry at him was the right, path, and Ike agreed, since he stated that I was way more patient than he, and that he would have likely knocked the guy out if the dude had continued. 4. Today I want to talk about some of the creepy experiences I've had with men, specifically in my line of work. I've been a hairstylist for about 10 years now. The earliest and probably most terrifying story was when I was first at my salon. I was 20 years old at the time, working by myself. A man comes in for a haircut, and after we discuss how he wants it cut, I begin. He was very quiet and didn't talk much, which normally wouldn't bother me, but after a little while I noticed the cape start moving, random jerky movements with his hands under the cape. I didn't know what to do or say, especially since I was alone in the salon. I also couldn't be 100% certain that he was doing what I thought he was doing. I was thinking maybe he had some sort of illness or disorder, causing him to have muscle spasms or something. Needless to say, I finished the haircut as quickly as possible, threw my cape into the washing machine and never saw him again. After I left that salon, I went to another that was closer to where I lived. I had a regular that would come in every 2 weeks for his haircut. At one appointment, I asked him if I fastened the cape too tight, and he said,
Maybe I'm into that.
I just forced an uncomfortable laugh and continued on with the appointment. Every time after that, I never asked if it was too tight, and I remembered that remark. Another time, a gentleman walked in for the haircut, and I was walking him back to my chair. He put his hand on my waist as I was talking to him. I tried to gently move away from him. During the haircut, he complained about his wife the whole time, and how she doesn't let him have any fun. At one point, he complimented my tattoos and asked,
How do you kiss someone with all those piercings?
I replied that my partner doesn't seem to mind them. His wife actually came into the salon at the end of his appointment to pay for him. I felt sort of sorry for her. Another man I was cutting told me that he and his wife had just had a baby a couple months ago. When I congratulated him, he said he never had any free time and his wife was always demanding more help with their children. His phone rang at one point and he huffed.
That's probably her right now. See? Can't even get my hair cut without her asking where I am.
When I shampooed him, I asked if he wanted a scalp massage for an extra fee. He said yes, and as I'm watching the clock to time myself, he starts moaning and says,
Oh, you aren't messing around, are you? And I'm gonna go home and put another baby in my wife.
The majority of my clientele is women, for more than one reason. 5. Okay, here's a long one that is a combination of 4 stories, all interconnecting on the same day. A little backdrop and understanding. I am a self-employed entrepreneur. Most of my work consists of 3 primary jobs. First and foremost is I search the internet and other information databases or sources, like public city records or a library or whatever, for all types of topics or information my clients themselves have failed to acquire on their own merits. Second is that I am a legally ordained minister registered with my state. And third, I work with things most people consider religiously or socially taboo, spooky, or just flat out weird. In this respect, I am very gifted at what I do. For the last two, I travel quite a lot to meet my clientele or customers. I generally take the bus everywhere, or an Uber, Lyft when I am in a hurry. I am often not paid for my work, but am practically working nearly 120 hours a week. I am a male, not too tall, quite chubby. I normally have long hair, also always wearing a purple shirt, a pair of blue jeans, a backpack of some kind, and a ton of weird belt pouches containing my wallets, my iPhone, and other business electronic necessities for POS stuff. This is important later. Story A. Cast is me. Kind-ass bus driver is BD. Rude old homeless woman is Ro. Security guy is SG, and random onlooker is Ron, for short. As I stated, I take the bus often to meet the majority of my clients. It's 2018. Today was a reasonable September day. School's just started the week prior. I decide to wear my usual set of stuff, tied up my long hair into a ponytail, and recently acquired a brand new backpack that is massive in size. And after being packed with goodness knows what, it is now roughly 50 pounds in weight, and on my back while waiting at the bus stop for the morning ride. I get on, sit closest to the front, as the seats are comfiest for chubby folk, and it had a spot nearby to rest my massive backpack. As I'm sitting down, I take out my phone and my POS equipment to activate the Square Travel setting for any new potential clients in my vicinity, whenever and wherever I end up walking or get dropped off at. I talk to the bus driver about the usual locals and small bus-related issues, layoffs, cancelled routes, yada yada. He warns me that our particular route has a new user that is a bit weird, even more so than my level of weirdness. We both chuckle at the joke. He bids me to brace myself, as her stop is coming up in 10 blocks. We get there, she hops on and sits across from me. She has to be in her late 60s, at best, maybe early 80s at worst. I sit back down at the request of the bus driver for safety reasons. Large incoming group of passengers. Ride generally takes 22 minutes to show up at the primary bus hub, where all city buses unload and load up passengers. We have 15 minutes left till we reach said hub, and here's where things truly begin.
Nice backpack. Can I have it?
No, it's mine. It has important stuff in it.
Why does it have to be yours? Aren't riders supposed to get free dibs on forgotten items?
See, weird one,
says the bus driver. Huh? Oh, gotcha. So at this point she is just staring, and what seems to me like drooling or salivating. I assume at my backpack.
Hand that thing over. I want to see the goodies the owner left behind.
Lady, this is mine. I'm heading to work.
Heading to? What do you call sitting there now?
I don't work for the bus company. I work for myself. I need to...
Then why are you wearing a bus driver pass around your neck?
Ron, our random onlooker, laughs. He realizes that pass around my neck is for disabled people, as he has one too.
Lady, it's called a statewide access pass. It lets people with certain problems ride the bus for cheap.
A what? Nonsense, he clearly works on this bus.
I honestly don't. BD, you're an employee for the company. Help me out here.
Listen, Ro. See this badge I'm holding up? This is a bus driver pass, not that thing that he is wearing.
At this point, Ro is not happy and finally just sits quietly, but all agitated and crumpled, crazy and grumpy. She stays like that until we finally arrive at the bus hub, and all the passengers on board. I wait because, well, backpack is heavy as hell. If I make the wrong move wearing that thing among 20 or so people getting off the bus, eventually someone would lose an eye or an arm. Finally I can get off. As I stand up, Ro launches herself at my backpack and tries to run off with it. Luckily, she is tiny and old. She just slumped to the floor and probably pulled an arm out of place by running and grabbing the heavy bag in one fast motion like that. She whined and complained how I shoved her to the ground and whatnot. Luckily, bus has cameras all throughout the bus.
Hello, dispatch. Please get me SG. We have a problem with Ro again.
SG shows up. He asks BD what happened. Ro goes and continues her rant about how an employee for the local bus company shouldn't be allowed first dibs on forgotten items, and how an employee of said company assaulted her over such an item. BD tells SG to pull up the tapes, and to call the police to come get Ro again for being disorderly and trying to rob a fellow bus passenger. Ro just looked at me, at BD, and SG like she got splashed awake with cold water. And she started crying and begging SG not to call the cops on her again. I was told to collect my things and asked if anything was broken in the bag. Nope, I replied and got off the bus. I saw SG escort Ro into the hub building, waiting for some form of higher authority to arrive to handle her. It seems this happens almost every week and almost daily. This time was her last incident, and BD explained she will likely be permanently banned from riding any local buses from here on out. Story B. Cast as me, SG is security guard, potential clients PCS, and Karen, entitled Mom, is Chem. As I get off the bus, still heavy with my backpack, I've got 45 minutes to kill till I catch the next bus to my new destination to meet the paying clientele. As I previously stated, I have my travel setting turned on in the Square app on my iPhone. 13 minutes of sitting and checking emails on my phone, in comes PCS. Are you the local entrepreneur? We got an alert on our local guide app that a traveling business was in our close proximity. Yes, of course I am. How may I be of some service to you? Here was my fatal mistake.
Ahem. When you're done helping these PCS, come explain this particular bus route schedule. I can't understand it.
Miss, I don't work for the bus company. I'm self-employed. And these nice people are seeking my services.
Well, I never in my life. How dare you deny me help?
I didn't deny you help. I only corrected your assumption.
Don't sass me back. Where's your manager? I want to see your boss, now.
Luckily, SG was 4 feet away and heard this, came over and asked if there was anything he could help with. And before either myself or Cam could speak, the gods smiled on me. Hi, sir. We are new in touring this city, and we got notified by our guide app that a type of business we are looking to try out was nearby. It's this gentleman next to us. Then this rude old bat just harassed this guy and demanded he handle her problem regarding some bus route that is so easy to figure out that a foreign tourist was able to figure it out in seconds. Points to themselves. Cam just looked horrified and confused. She scoffed and tried to tell her side, but the PCS told her to shut up and go to some foreign landmark and to take a dive in shark-infested waters. This made her slump and totally deflate. She knew she was lost. It was awesome. She skulked away and sat down with her screaming kids. Incident C. Me is me. Chem returns, ashamed and atomically pissed off. Husband is asshub. BD is bus driver. SK screaming kids. So I missed my original planned bus thanks to a sweet $35 times 3 payday from PCS. And after an additional hour wait, my bus finally arrives and I get on. BD asks for identification, disability bus pass. He knows me from my usual other work, minister stuff. I help people get married. There's a special park for getting married out near where I plan to go meet this clientele. So he often sees me on this route during spring and summer, and it's a common time around here to get hitched. There also happens to be a Super Wally World near there too, which I plan to stop by for some golden arches. Yes, some Wallies still carry the GA's food space in their stores. I get to my destination, meet the client, and got paid heftily. It was a beautiful $850 job. Best pay yet in a long time. I decided screw it, take an Uber to Wally World. Ask the driver to wait 40 minutes or less as I plan to go get some groceries and collect lunch from GA. Was now in mood for a super value meal. Side joke. Sorry for that, folks. I asked the driver to pull over to a space in the parking lot and brought my backpack with me just in case he was asked or called away for another ride. I walk in, head directly for the frozen foods and dairy where my favorite taco cheese and sour cream is located, and the boxed taco kits. I grabbed a frozen bag of stir-fry veggies and walked 20 feet to where the hamburg is for the taco meat. Along the way, I continued to grab some other taco essentials and basics. As I'm leaving the produce section, wanted to check if any late seasonal watermelons were left. These particular watermelons are the sweetest and juiciest due to being the last to ripen on the vines during the hottest and most rainiest part of summer, as it was coming to a close. None were left. That's when I saw Cam. She saw me, turned to run in shame. But SK recognizes me, starts pestering me, and keeps asking me to fix
Mommy's bus stuff.
I try my best to explain to SK I don't work for the bus company, and I was trying to shop for myself. SK insists I help their mom, and it takes a few minutes of me getting irritated to move and adjust and shift my weight, because now the backpack is hurting my back. Like I was afraid of, I moved wrong and my heavy backpack knocks one of the kids to the ground. Ashub sees this and is now furious, but even more so as Ashub was given a fake story by Cam, so he confronts me first about the kids. I apologize profusely, as I know this was my doing. He relents a little, but now he's PO'd about the earlier story. I explained my best what happened. He looked at Cam. She dips away like a caught puppy peeing on the carpet. Now I'm mad at her, not me anymore, and ashamed for Cam's behavior. He then says if he lets me go about the kid getting hurt, can I forget about what Cam did? I agreed, got my killer-sized food from Golden Arches, ate my lunch there, paid for my groceries, and luckily still had my Uber waiting for me. I load my groceries into the trunk, got in the car, and he asks if he can just drop me off at the bus hub because there's a new person there waiting for him. I say fine. This leads to Incident 4. Story D, cast as me, new ride person is NRP, Uber driver is Uber driver, PP is police person, you'll understand soon. Ro is back. I get dropped off and helped with unloading my groceries by the Uber driver. He has all my stuff in his arms and I have my backpack, and 6 bags of groceries too. We put it all against the wall of the hub building and out walks NRP looking for her ride. NRP taps my shoulder politely.
Oi, get moving. Drop his stuff and let's go. I'm late for my appointment with
some important big shot. WTF, did NRP honestly think I was an Uber driver? Oh well, let's try to explain. Listen here, lady, I'm not your driver, I'm a passenger getting dropped off here. I'm tired, I just finished a well-paying job, and I just want to go home.
Excuse me, but you're wearing an Uber thingy.
My bus pass.
You obviously have to be my driver.
The Uber driver hears her, clears his throat, trying desperately to get her attention, and gets in the driver's seat. NRP does not hear nor sees him. I am still trying to carefully put my stuff on the ground, without ruining my groceries and backpack. As I bend down a bit, NRP grabs my ponytail, and tries to stop me from going any further.
Listen here, asshole. I said I'm late. Get your ass in that car and let's go.
I yelped in pain and almost swung my actual chubby weight and backpack weight in anger towards her. But calmness was somehow in my corner, reminding me not to make any decisions I will regret later. And out of my corner of my eye, I spot Ro in cuffs being escorted to a patrol cruiser by 2 PP. She has also noticed them and decided she was more important than everyone, so called them both over to have me arrested for not being punctual enough for her. NRP told the two that men like them and me are what's wrong with this nation. PP1 and 2 did not like being called men. Turns out they are female cops, as well as feminists with bigger egos than NRP. I just sat there, stunned in disbelief at their nonsense conversation. Finally, NRP realizes driver is hunking, and I'm not in the seat. She's beat red. I laugh. Then PP1 and 2 gets back to Ro, only for Ro to rat me out about trying to steal her precious backpack from her. They are already aware of the facts, but still approach me. I am scared shitless, thinking, damn it, they believe that nutcase? To my surprise, they just needed my official statement on the issue and let me on my way. I got myself another Uber and made it home in time to make tacos for 4. My friends and I ate till we were stuffed and ready to puke. I should note that the local bus company actually has a very strict policy regarding lost, forgotten, or left behind personal items and property. All of it is brought to the main office and placed in a lost and found storage type area, where they are inspected and checked for any particular identification, if any. There, all items get tagged with date and place in the bus route in which it was found at. They stay stored away until someone calls in to ask and give a specific description of a random unknown identifying mark or such. and have proved beyond doubt that the lost item is definitely theirs. After a year or so, all seemingly abandoned items eventually get placed on an auction block to raise funding to help pay for any type of necessities and bills. Edit. People private messaged me about what is in the new backpack. Well, since I travel a lot on my own, using mainly public transit, I sometimes end up too far from home when visiting or meeting a client, and will need to stay overnight someplace, like a motel or whatever, because either Uber is no longer available in that area, or I managed to miss the last bus for that area too. I filled this new backpack with essential items for keeping hygienic, fresh change of clothing like undergarments, socks, pants and shirt, and showering and bathing kit with a washcloth, a large towel, toiletries and toilet tissue. I have also stored in the pack medical first aid supplies, my medications, food equipment, cutlery, plates, collapsible cup, hand wipes. Additionally, I have a few portable battery charge packs for keeping my iPhone and other essential devices topped up. I also have my business essentials, including necessary identification paperwork, and any other types of paperwork, and everything else considered important for being stuck away from home for a day or two. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Idiots in the Wild, number 21. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories and sent in stories for use in this video. Special shout out goes to Melissa Marie, who's currently in the chat, I believe, as I record this. She is the most mischievous of all the people in the chat. She's the one we have a special hose for. Thank you very much for allowing us to use your hairdressing stories, Melissa. Okay, this is Thursday. Paranormal will be Friday. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap things up there for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.